Suzy Wrong, Joy Drive's film, TV and theatre reviewer.
Welcome to Joy Drive, Suzy.
Thank you. We've made it to December.
I know.
did it.
And this is your final performance on Joy Drive for the year.
For the year. I'll be back in January, but the last one for the year. And I've got something so special for you.
Oh, okay.
So we're talking about Single All the Way, which is currently streaming on Netflix.
Single All the Way is this year's Netflix Christmas rom-com, so brace yourself for a generous dose of cheese as Peter returns home for the holidays with his bestie Nick in tow. Both men are gay and attractive, but have remained platonic friends through the years. Peter's family is desperate for him to fall in love, presumably because single people are losers, and so this gay version of When Harry Met Sally unfolds. It's the kind of film where you see the conclusion from the very start, and because it takes place at Christmas time, all sense of taste and of logic are checked at the door. The plot is undoubtedly stupid, but I found a lot of the comedy funnier than I initially expected. The cast is charming, and although I had no interest at all in whether Peter and Nick were eventually going to hook up, it was a fun journey watching all the chaotic seasonal merriment leading to their inevitable union. It would come as no surprise that Jennifer Coolidge and Kathy Najimy steal the show, both women likable as always, both magically giving Single All the Way a certain luster that makes things feel a bit more elevated than your average TV movie. Queer people have fought hard for equality, so I guess making dumb entertainment with gay men in lead roles is part of the deal. Seriously, though, there is a power in seeing all of Peter's family, including his nieces and little nephew, rooting for a gay man's romantic fulfillment. There is something comforting in seeing gayness presented in such a wholesome way. Perhaps making family-friendly entertainment is the next chapter of our progress. Did it put you in a Christmas mood, Em and Warren?
Well, you know what, Suzy? I thought this is Suzy's last show here for the year, and she's going to give us a Christmas one. I'm going to sit down with a bottle of wine and some really nice cheese, and I bought some really nice cheese, and I thought I'm going to really enjoy this movie. And I started watching it, and I was thinking, you know, I'm not sure what's cheesier, the cheese I'm eating or the show I'm watching. And I thought, you know, maybe I should have gone for that, you know, that old Kraft boring cheddar or something like that, or some, you know, those slices for hamburgers. Because for me, that would have been more appropriate. I don't know. What did you reckon of it, Em?
Look, I'll start with the good. I agree with you, Suzy. I think that it is great to see like a fun family movie that, you know, has all this delightful, like they clap when things happen in their living room, which is so overwhelming, but okay. Jennifer Coolidge, of course, is super fun and I really love her. And so she just basically brought herself to the film. So cool. The thing that got me, Suzy, though, and I don't know if you agree, but I found it kind of counterintuitive because they were talking a lot about how, they're best friends and not all gay people that are best friends will end up together and we shouldn't force it and that's not how it works. But then I don't want to give away the ending, but like, what? It just felt really counterintuitive.
Well, I think it was really uncomfortable watching because it keeps making you imagine your besties and how you're gonna, you know, end up with them in bed, you know, because that theme keeps coming back again and again. And you know, obviously, when you're watching a story like that, you're trying to picture yourself in these positions.
Yep.
And it's very uncomfortable. I'm like, no, I don't want to imagine that.
But they even talk about it. They even say, you know, like just because we're both gay and we're both friends, it doesn't mean we're going to end up together. And I feel like that is a good sentiment, and that should be a sentiment that is a through line in society and in, you know, the world. But then for it to, again, I don't want to ruin it, but it's I don't know.
We're talking about Peter and Nick. There was no chemistry between them whatsoever. That's what I was shocked about. Like, everyone was saying, they should be together, but the only bit of chemistry we saw was a bit of huff coming out of his mouth in the cold. I mean, I don't know. I found Peter, there was nothing real, there was nothing authentic about him. It was like, I don't know. That's
Suzy,
how
I think Warren loved it. I think Warren really loved it.
You know what? There was no diversity in the show whatsoever. I just think it perpetuated gay stereotypes. I didn't find it funny at all, to be honest with you. I don't think I laughed once in the whole thing, and I was actually in a good mood sitting down to watch it. I just thought it was mass market Christmas slop.
Yeah, but I think that says a lot about Christmas film and how it's almost impossible to make a Christmas film with depth, I think. I mean, unless you're going back to, you know, the old stuff what was that? That one with stories about poverty and all that. But if you're talking about a rom-com for Christmas now, I don't know how you're going to make something that is sort of truthful and believable and meaningful. It's always a bit of fluff, and I think for me, I feel like this was a bit of fluff that I was able to stomach. It didn't sort of make me throw up as much as it did for you, Warren.
But how did it compare it to Happiest Season? How did you, like, if you were comparing the two, what would you prefer?
I preferred this one.
Oh.
I think I felt like this one was so transparently stupid. So I didn't feel like it was trying to. It wasn't trying to trick me or anything.
And you're right, it did do transparent stupidity really well. And maybe that's you're right, I'm looking at it expecting an in-depth Christmas movie, and it's not that. It is a tick-the-box thing that you play on Christmas Day or when you're preparing food, or, it's in the background. You don't take it too far. You don't analyse it too much.
And sometimes I think it's a bit of a Trojan horse type movie where it sort of tricks you into playing it for the whole family. And on that level, I feel like, it's actually quite skillful. It makes you feel like you can watch it with your 5-year-old family members. And that's a really good way to sort of bring gay stories into their lives, and then hopefully open up conversations, because we don't really have that in our films. Then there aren't. I can't think of many. Gay stories, gay movies where you can watch as a family and feel comfortable and not sort of cringe at everything that's going to happen.
Absolutely. I did find that there was quite a bit of overacting, but that is definitely a Christmas movie trope. So they've nailed that. The other thing that I wanted to mention about the acting that I found myself was that I really enjoyed Nick's performance. I thought he was actually really quite fantastic, and it led me to look him up online, and that's actually his first feature film.
And he was probably the best
I would say
in the whole show. I agree. Suzy, the only thing I want to say on your comment though is, when you look at it and it starts and they're doing Instagram shots with guys, with amazing bodies and what have you, and everyone had the polished teeth again. Wouldn't you rather expose kids to a bit of reality if you're doing a Christmas thing? Sure, it's nice to get the gay story out there, but not everyone looks exactly like that.
I don't know how much reality we give kids, really. Do we give kids reality? My impression is, especially in movie land, I feel like, when we make a movie that's G-rated, PG-rated, so much of it is, varnish, literally. Varnish, in this case, white teeth.
What's your favourite cheese, Suzy?
Oh, mine is the bluer the better. I like all the blue vein that you can give me.
Suzy, Warren and I may not have enjoyed the film as much as we could have, but we always enjoy chatting to you.
Yeah, and we've seen some fantastic shows because of your recommendations throughout the year as well.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year, hasn't it? But I think hopefully that means lots of people have been staying at home watching these shows with us. It's really special to be able to have this moment of community every Tuesday afternoon for me to come in and have a chat with the two of you, but also knowing that there are lots of people that I think of as my community tuning in and sort of weighing in sometimes with what we have to say. It's a great privilege, and I cherish it.
And we love having you on. Suzy, before we do let you go, what would be your number one pick for TV for the year that we've reviewed?
This is so hard. I'll tell you what, something that we haven't reviewed, we haven't had the opportunity, but has appeared on Binge now. I've waited 2 years for it, and it finally has appeared, but unfortunately I'm going to be away for the next few weeks. I'll be back in January. Maybe we'll talk about it then, but it's a reality show called Legendary on Binge. It sort of feeds off the Pose series that we love so much. It is about these mainly black, queer, so-called families, how they call themselves families. And it's a reality show of them fighting it out on the ballroom floor. So lots of voguing, lots of posing, lots of costumes, called Legendary. Definitely want to see.
Maybe
Sounds
we can
awesome.
review that when you come back for the first week.
Maybe we could. We'll discuss that later.
You know what my number one is? Veneno.
Oh, yeah. She's amazing.
Which was on ABC iView. If you want something to watch, maybe have a look at that.
Thanks so much, Suzy. Thanks for joining us, and have a great time off. We'll miss you.
And I'll miss you too. See you next year.
See you next year.